This is Hannibal here with a daily wrestling news update for you. AEW Collision Saturday night did a 0.11 rating. That was down from a record low last week. However, they probably could have done better had they actually used MJF and Will Ospreay on Collision rather than having them do independent shows that night. Strange that they pay so much for these wrestlers and prioritize other companies rather than try and make their own TV shows as good as possible. In other news, Randy Orton has signed a new 5-year deal with WWE. He's been one of the highest paid wrestlers in WWE for a long time. They obviously don't want him to go anywhere. I know for the last contract he had, he was making over $4 million a year. So even though you could say he's not exactly in the top 5 performer or like most popular wrestlers in the company right now, if you want to include part-time wrestlers, I wouldn't even know if he'd be in the top 7 or 8. He's definitely a good guy to have on your card, and they're making more money than ever. So why not re-sign him and lock him in until he's 49 years old? John Cena, who recently announced his retirement tour for 2025, and Triple H has confirmed that he might start appearing later this year around the time WWE begins on Netflix. Cena has said that he's going to do 36 dates in total. So he's not saying that's a hard number, but it's going to be more or less 36 appearances with WWE from January to December 2025. Chad Gable, who's currently involved in a feud with the Wyatt Six, recently said in an interview he loves working with Bo Dallas. For old school fans like me, that just reinforces why we don't watch these days. But obviously, they're making more money than ever, so whether I watch or care about their product behind the scene news is absolutely irrelevant. In other news, Mark Henry, who I know a little bit, not always the nicest guy in my interactions with him, but there he is last night with his son at Raw. I will say this for Mark Henry, AEW paid him for years and did nothing with him. They hired him for commentary, but he wasn't any good at commentary apparently, so they just basically kept him under contract and did nothing with him. The main thing I see here with Henry and his son, who's signed to a development deal, is he's quite a bit taller than Henry. Henry is quite a bit taller than his son. And I remember I'm taller than Mark Henry. So his son, I'm not saying his son's short or anything, but his son doesn't have the height of his father. Of course, when you're the son of a wrestler, it's way easier to get signed. Some cases, in cases like Randy Orton, works out great. In other cases, like Ted DiBiase Jr., for instance, although I wouldn't say he had a bad run, but if you look where he is now, facing a long time in jail, you can't say that it worked out very well for him. And I'm not laughing at that situation because my experiences with Ted DiBiase have been good overall, and he hasn't been proven guilty of anything. I'm just saying that his son, you couldn't say really is one of the success stories in wrestling, although you're innocent until proven guilty, and I'm not going to even pretend to be an expert on that situation. So please give this video a thumbs up and have a great afternoon.